Welcome to English Diaries. In this video, we are going to do something a little different. You will not only learn English, you will also receive motivation, inspiration, and habits that can truly change your daily life. This is not a grammar class. This is not about memorizing boring rules. Instead, this is about learning English naturally, by listening to real stories and motivational lessons. You will hear about success, about failure, about discipline, and about the power of small habits. Every morning, we all receive the same gift, 24 hours. But here is the question: how do you use them? For many people, the answer depends on how they start their day. If your morning is full of stress, the rest of your day usually follows the same pattern. But if your morning is calm, intentional, and full of good habits, the rest of your day has a much better chance to be positive and productive. In this lesson, I will guide you through some of the best morning habits that successful people use. I will share with you stories and reflections, and at the same time, I will highlight key English expressions. Repeat these phrases, practice them. They are simple, powerful, and useful. By the end of this video, you will not only know new English expressions, but you will also have a clear plan for how to build better mornings and slowly, how to build a better life. So let's begin our journey. Let's talk about the power of morning habits. Let me tell you something important. Mornings are not just the start of the day. They are the foundation of the day. If your foundation is strong, the whole building stands tall. But if the foundation is weak, everything above it becomes unstable. The first habit is waking up earlier. I used to wake up late, always rushing, always behind. I remember mornings when I opened my eyes, checked the time, and felt panic immediately. No breakfast, no calm, just stress. Then I decided to wake up 30 minutes earlier. At first, it felt impossible. My body hated it. I wanted to stay in bed. But after a few weeks, something changed. I started to feel a sense of peace. The world was still quiet. No emails, no phone calls, no noise, just me. In English, we call this a head start. A head start means an advantage at the beginning of something. By waking up earlier, I was giving myself a head start in life. The second habit is writing one page. This habit is often called journaling. Every morning, I take a notebook and I write one page. Sometimes the page is boring. Sometimes it is exciting. But the point is not to write something perfect. The point is to clear your mind. In English, we say, clear your mind, when we want to remove all the noise and stress from our thoughts. Writing one page helped me see my feelings, my goals, and my problems more clearly. It was like opening a window and letting fresh air in. The third habit is moving your body. For years, I told myself I did not have time for exercise. But then I learned a phrase in English: motion creates emotion. When you move your body, even just for 10 minutes, you change your emotions. A short walk, some stretching, or a few push-ups can completely shift your energy. The days I moved my body were always better than the days I didn't. It was not about becoming an athlete. It was about giving myself energy, focus, and strength to face the day. So let's review. 3 habits. Wake up earlier to get a head start. Write one page to clear your mind. And move your body because motion creates emotion. These are not complicated. They are not expensive. But practiced every day, they are powerful. Now, let me tell you a short story. A friend of mine once told me, "My mornings build my empire." At first, I thought it was a joke. But he explained, his empire was not just his business or his money. His empire was his discipline, his focus, his mental health. By protecting his mornings, he was protecting his life. And here is the lesson. Success is not built in one day. It is built every day. And it usually starts in the morning. We have talked about morning habits. But now let's look at lessons from people who have walked the path of success. Because success leaves clues. If you study the lives of great people, entrepreneurs, athletes, teachers, and leaders, you will notice patterns. You will see habits, and you will find wisdom that you can use in your own life. The first lesson comes from entrepreneurs. When you hear the word entrepreneur, you might think about money, startups, or innovation, but the real secret of successful entrepreneurs is not money or luck. It is consistency. In English, we often use the phrase, consistency is key. Imagine a key that opens a door. That key is not brilliance, not intelligence, not talent, it is consistency. Doing the right thing, again and again, until the door finally opens. Let me share a story. There was a young entrepreneur who started a small online business. In the beginning, nobody cared. He made videos, and only 10 people watched. He wrote articles, and no one read them. Most people would quit, but he didn't. Every day, he showed up. Every day, he posted. He improved. He learned. After 6 months, he had 100 followers. After 1 year, he had 1,000. After 5 years, he had millions. When people asked him for the secret, he said, "There was no secret. I was just consistent." Now think about your English learning. You don't need to study 10 hours a day. You don't need to memorize 1,000 words at once. You just need consistency. 10 minutes every day is better than 3 hours once a week. Consistency is key. The second lesson comes from athletes. Athletes understand something very important: discipline. Discipline means doing what you need to do, even when you don't feel like doing it. In English, there is a phrase, discipline shapes destiny. That means your future is shaped not by your dreams, but by your discipline. Let me tell you a story about an Olympic runner. Every morning, at 5 o'clock, while the city was still sleeping, she was running. Rain, snow, or sunshine, she ran. Some mornings, she hated it. Some mornings, she wanted to quit, but she didn't quit. She kept running. Years later, she stood on the Olympic stage with a gold medal around her neck. Reporters asked her, "What was the hardest part?" She said, "Not the race. The hardest part was every morning when I didn't want to get out of bed. But I did anyway." Discipline is not glamorous. Discipline is not exciting. Discipline is repetitive, boring, and sometimes painful. But discipline shapes destiny. And that is true not only for athletes, but for students, workers, and everyone who wants to improve. The third lesson comes from teachers and mentors. Teachers know that big achievements are built from small steps. There is a phrase in English, small steps build big journeys. Think about a mountain. If you look at the top, it feels impossible. But if you take one step, then another, and then another, one day you will reach the top. I remember my old teacher. When I was young, I wanted to speak perfect English in 1 month. I thought I could memorize everything quickly. My teacher smiled and said, "Slow down. Do 1 lesson a day. 1 page a day. 1 new word a day." At first, I was disappointed. I wanted to move faster. But she was right. 1 year later, I was much better. And I realized, small steps build big journeys. So let's recap. From entrepreneurs, we learn, consistency is key. From athletes, we learn, discipline shapes destiny. From teachers, we learn, small steps build big journeys. Now let me connect these 3 lessons together. Imagine your life as a story. Every morning, you wake up, and a new page is waiting for you. If you want that story to be powerful, you need 3 things: consistency, discipline, and small steps. Consistency will keep you moving, day after day. Discipline will keep you moving, even when you feel tired. And small steps will keep you moving in the right direction, without losing hope. Here's another phrase I want you to remember. Success is not sudden. It is silent. People often think success happens overnight. They see the Olympic medal, the $1 million company, the best-selling book, but they don't see the mornings, the discipline, the small steps. Success is not loud. It is silent, until one day, the world notices. So, when you feel invisible, when you feel like your efforts don't matter, remember, you are building in silence. You are writing the unseen chapters of your story. And one day, Those silent pages will become your success. We have talked about morning habits. And we have learned lessons from successful people. But now we need to face one of the hardest parts of life: failure. Nobody likes failure. Nobody enjoys it. But here is the truth: failure is part of success. In fact, failure is the foundation of success. In English, there is a phrase: failure is feedback. What does this mean? It means that failure is not the end. Failure is information. Failure is a teacher. If you listen, it tells you what went wrong, what you need to change, and how you can grow. Let me share a story. There was a young inventor named Thomas Edison. He tried thousands of times to create the light bulb. Most of his experiments failed. Reporters asked him, "How do you feel about failing 1,000 times?" He replied, "I didn't fail 1,000 times. I discovered 1,000 ways that did not work." This attitude is powerful. Failure was not the enemy. Failure was feedback, and feedback guided him to success. Now, let's connect this to learning English. Maybe you have spoken English and made a mistake. Maybe someone laughed. Maybe you felt embarrassed. But think about it. That mistake is not the end. It is feedback. It is your teacher. Every mistake shows you one way not to say something, and guides you to the right way. Failure is feedback. There is another phrase: not yet. I love this phrase. Imagine someone says, "I can't do this." If you add the word yet, everything changes. I can't do this yet. That means it is not impossible. It just hasn't happened. Not yet. I don't speak English fluently yet. I don't understand this lesson yet. The word yet keeps the door open. The story is not finished. Let me share a more personal story. There was a time in my life when I felt like everything was falling apart. I failed an important exam. I lost an opportunity. I thought it was the end. But later, I realized it was not the end. It was a turning point. In English, we call this a turning point, a moment when everything changes direction. That failure forced me to work harder, to focus more, and to rebuild myself. Without that failure, I would not be here today. So remember 3 phrases: failure is feedback, not yet, and turning point. Together, these ideas change the way we see failure. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of success. Now let's think about some examples from famous people. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players in history, once said, "I have missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I have lost almost 300 games. 26 times. I was trusted to take the game-winning shot and I missed. I have failed over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed." His words are clear. Failure is the reason for success, not the enemy of it. Or consider J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter. Before her success, she was rejected by 12 publishers. 12 people told her no. She was broke, unemployed, and struggling as a single mother. But she kept writing. She kept trying. That no was not the end. It was not yet. And eventually, she found one publisher who said yes. Today, her books are loved around the world. These stories show us that failure does not stop success. Failure shapes success. Every failure adds a chapter to the story. Every mistake adds a lesson. Every rejection adds resilience. So, what should you do when you fail? First, do not hide from it. Face it. Ask, what is the feedback? Second, add the word yet. If you can't do it now, it doesn't mean you can't do it forever. And third, look for the turning point. Ask yourself, how can I use this failure to grow stronger? And here is one more phrase to remember: bounce back. In English, when we say someone can bounce back, it means they can recover from failure and come back even stronger. Think of a ball. When it hits the ground, it bounces back up. In life, when you fall, you can bounce back. So let's recap this section. 4 expressions: failure is feedback, not yet, turning point, and bounce back. These are not just English phrases. They are life lessons. Use them when you speak English, and use them when you live your life. Failure will visit everyone. But remember, it is not your enemy. It is your teacher. It is not the end of the story. It is part of the story. And sometimes, the most beautiful chapters are written after failure. We have learned about habits. We have learned from successful people. And we have talked about failure. But here is one more question. How do you keep going every single day? How do you stay motivated when life feels heavy? When progress feels slow? When nobody is watching? The answer is small daily practices. Not once a year. Not once a month. Every day. Let me share 3 powerful practices that you can add to your life. The first is gratitude. Gratitude means being thankful for what you already have. In English, we say, count your blessings. Every morning or every evening, take 1 minute and write down 3 things you are grateful for. Maybe it is your family. Maybe it is your health. Maybe it is simply the fact that you have another day. Gratitude does not change your situation, but it changes your vision. When you count your blessings, you see more clearly. The second practice is visualization. In English, we say, picture your future. Close your eyes and imagine the person you want to become. Imagine the life you want to live. Visualization is not magic, but it is motivation. When you can see your future clearly, you will walk toward it with more energy. The third practice is celebrating small wins. We often wait for big achievements before we feel proud. But success is built on little victories. In English, we say, little wins matter. Did you finish a page? That matters. Did you speak 1 sentence in English with confidence? That matters. Every little win is a brick. And those bricks build your house of success. So, remember these 3 daily practices. Count your blessings. Picture your future. And celebrate small wins. They are simple, but they give you strength to keep moving forward. 1 day at a time. So let's bring everything together. In this video, you have learned new English expressions and new life lessons. Let's review. From morning habits, a head start. Clear your mind. Motion creates emotion. From successful people, consistency is key. Discipline shapes destiny. Small steps build big journeys. From failure, failure is feedback. Not yet, turning point, and bounce back. From daily practices, count your blessings. Picture your future, and little wins matter. These are not just English phrases. They are reminders, tools, and keys you can use in your daily life. Remember this. Success is not built in 1 day. Success is built every day. And your English is the same. Every sentence, every word, every effort, it all adds up. Thank you for spending this time with me here on English Diaries. If you enjoyed this video, practice the phrases, apply the lessons, and keep building your mornings, your habits, and your dreams. And of course, subscribe to English Diaries for more motivational stories and English lessons. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep writing the pages of your own story.